Tech entrepreneur Elon Musk recently appeared on Saturday Night Live, and while on the show he revealed some very interesting things about himself that most people never knew. So today we thought we should dive into who this revolutionary businessman is. But first, if you could do us a big favor and please tap that like button, we would really appreciate the support. And with that out of the way, let's just dive right into today's top 10. Coming in number 10, Asperger's syndrome. Not too long ago, while he was hosting Saturday Night Live, Elon opened the show by saying, "I don't always have a lot of intonation or variation in how I speak, which I'm told makes for great comedy." He then added, "I'm actually making history tonight as the first person with Asperger's to host SNL." His comment resulted in a massive round of applause from those in attendance at the studio. Some believe that this was actually the first time that Elon had revealed this to the public as well. He went on to say, "Look, I know I sometimes say or post strange things, but that's just how my brain works," adding, "To anyone who's been offended, I just want to say I reinvented electric cars and I'm sending people to Mars in a rocket ship. Did you think I was also going to be a chill, normal dude?" Coming in number 9, born in South Africa. Born to a South African father and a Canadian mother, little Elon Musk arrived on June 28, 1971 in Pretoria, South Africa. At an early age, he displayed an immense talent for computers and entrepreneurship. By 12 years old, he had already created a video game, but we'll get to that in a bit. His interest in computers came right around the age of 10 years old, which is also when his parents divorced. His parents said that as a child, he was so lost in his daydreams about inventions that they actually took him to the doctor, who ordered a test to check his hearing. Coming in at number 8, learned to code at 12. As a child, even though he was sometimes distracted by his daydreams, Musk was extremely driven. He would often spend 10 hours a day reading books and was obsessed with video games. His love of video games is actually what drove him to learn programming. He wanted to see if he could actually make his own video games, and overall just wanted to know how the games worked. That curiosity, though, is what led him to learning how to program computers. Elon first started with a book on the basic programming language, which was a popular coding book in the 1960s. In fact, it was still a widely used coding manual that translated to many computers even in the 1980s. The book also offered a 6-month program to learn coding, but Elon was able to get through it all in just 3 days. And as I mentioned earlier, by the age of 12, he had already programmed his first video game. In 1984, Musk created a game called Blastar. The game drew its inspiration from Alien Invaders, but the space theme was just the first preview of what would become much greater aspirations for him. Musk ended up actually pitching the game to PC and Office Technology, which offered to buy Blastar for $500. At the age of 12, he had already learned how to turn a profit with his newfound coding abilities. Coming at number 7, dropped out of school. In 1989, when Musk was 17 years old, he decided to move to Canada, where he would attend Queen's University. Although he wasn't trying to just attend university, he was also avoiding mandatory service in the South African military. After obtaining his Canadian citizenship, though, he would leave Canada in 1992 to study business and physics at the University of Pennsylvania. Musk ended up graduating with an undergraduate degree in economics and stayed for a second bachelor's degree in physics. Once leaving the University of Pennsylvania, though, Musk went to Stanford University in California to get his PhD in energy physics. Although this move was perfectly aligned with the internet boom, Musk launched his first company and decided to drop out of Stanford after just 2 days of attending classes. He would go on to later sell the company for $307 million in cash and $34 million in stock options. Coming at number 6, father of 7. Most of us see Elon Musk as the guy who runs Tesla and SpaceX, but what we forget is that he is also the father of 7. What? Excuse me? Yes. With all of his free time, he has somehow managed to father 7 children. Of course, there is his child with Grimes that had the extremely complicated name. However, before meeting Grimes, Elon also had 6 other children with a woman named Justine Wilson. The two were married from 2000 to 2008, and they used IVF to assist with their pregnancies. This resulted in the birth of twins, Griffin and Xavier, in 2004, and then triplets, Saxon, Kai, and Damien, in 2006. Unfortunately, prior to the birth of the twins and triplets, Elon and Justine actually lost their first son, Nevada. They had put him down for a nap and placed him on his back as always, but then he suddenly stopped breathing. He was 10 weeks old at the time, which is also the age that male infants are most susceptible to SIDS. After being on life support for 3 days, the baby sadly could not be revived. Coming in at number 5, sold all of his homes. Heading into 2020, Elon Musk decided to really embrace that minimalist lifestyle, so much that he announced he was selling all of his homes. Elon said on Twitter, "I am selling almost all physical possessions, will own no house." And sure enough, he followed through on his promise and sold all 3 homes. He and Grimes also relocated to Texas, and I suppose they're just renting now? Imagine having Elon Musk and Grimes as your tenants. Oh, I also forgot to mention though that he did add one stipulation to this deal of selling off his possessions. He later added to the first tweet saying, "Just one stipulation on sale, I own Gene Wilder's old house, it cannot be torn down or lose any of its soul." And if you don't know who Gene Wilder is, then boy oh boy do I feel old, because to me that's pretty cool that he owned Gene Wilder's home. Coming in number 4, once lost $30 billion overnight. Within the span of 24 hours, Elon Musk managed to lose $30 billion and the title of world's richest man. I mean, oof. According to Bloomberg, he lost so much money because Tesla's stock price dropped dramatically, taking the biggest hit it had seen in a while. What happened was Elon decided to authorize Tesla to buy $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin so that they can maximize the returns on cash and have more flexibility. As of now, about 3% of Tesla's cash on hand has been converted into Bitcoin. Although due to the market volatility of cryptocurrencies, a lot of investors decide to bail with fears that this would tank the company. Speaking of, coming in at number 3, founder of 8 companies. Whether you like Elon Musk or not, you have to admire the man's ambition. Over the course of his life, he has managed to start 8 different companies. In December of 2016, he founded the Boring Company that focused on projects like building tunnels under Los Angeles to help ease traffic. In addition to that, they also sold 20,000 flamethrowers that were branded as not a flamethrower. And in July of 2016, Musk also founded the Neuralink Corporation. And this company's focus is on developing an implantable brain-machine interface, something that they hope will help people with paralysis regain independence through their technology. In December of 2015, Elon also founded a company called OpenAI. This company's focus was on building machines with human intelligence while prioritizing transparency and safety. Now going way back to 2002, and we have the birth of SpaceX. When founding SpaceX, Musk made headlines for promising that his company would create reusable rockets, space tourism, and a network of satellites that could provide internet connectivity to the entire planet. Although these are all small promises compared to their ultimate mission of one day colonizing Mars. And also, how could we forget Tesla as well? Coming at number 2, bullied in high school. Today the world knows Elon Musk as a wealthy and imaginative genius of our generation. However, when he was a kid growing up in South Africa, life was not that easy. In fact, he got bullied quite often in school, with his mother telling Esquire magazine in 2012, Elon was the youngest and smallest guy in his school. May says, and soon he found himself in conflict not just with other children, but with what seemed like South Africa itself. She went on to explain that life at the time was pretty rough in South Africa, and that kids gave Elon a very hard time, which definitely had a huge impact on his life. Despite being bullied though, he continued to go to school. His mother said that there was no recourse in South Africa. If you were getting bullied, you still had to go to school. So even though he knew what awaited him every day, he would just get up every single morning and go. And last but certainly not least, coming in at our number 1 spot, saved Australia. Okay, now I know the title for this point is a tad dramatic, but he did save Australia tens of millions of dollars. In 2016, South Australia had a near total blackout after a crazy storm that saw nearly 80,000 lightning strikes and at least 2 tornadoes. After a politician blamed the blackout on the lack of renewable energy in the country, Musk offered to power the area with his company's power packs within 100 days, and he actually ended up doing it within 60. Within 2 years, the battery farm was saving South Australia more than $100 million in network costs. Due to the battery's ability to store energy from nearby wind and solar farms, they can use this to save residents and businesses from losing power during outages. Now the government of Victoria, Australia is planning on building an even bigger battery farm, with that one being double the size of the first one. On a typical peak summer day, the hot and dry state has abundant sunshine and equally high energy needs. South Australia has led the way globally though toward an all-renewable grid, including a recent milestone where the grid was powered only by solar for an entire hour. Definitely a huge accomplishment that all stem from Elon's daydreaming of inventions. With that though, let's check out some of your comments from the video titled Ex-Kardashian BFF Exposes NBA Player. Lee Ali says, when Larsa Pippen started going on about clout chasing, I had to laugh. I don't even have to shade her, IO did it for me with their video title. Yeah, it was a bit shady, but hey, it is what it is. Candace Miller says, hey Johnny, love the videos, do you have your own channel also? I actually do. Just search Johnny Rogers and look for my mug. I don't post that often, but I do post my music, so if you're interested in that, then it's there for you. Cool Kid says, I feel like Instagram and Twitter are the places people get exposed or start drama. I mean, it sure seems like it. Zelda Warrior Princess says, who needs reality TV anymore? We have Twitter. I mean, it seems like the place where all the tea goes, at least. Amanda Marshall says, tea time. Oh, that was definitely a call for tea time. But guys, that has been today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy, YouTube.